Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Late Night Brew, where we talk the brews first, then we get around what we're supposed to afterwards. I'm Robert Baktanica, as always, your host, and joining me for the next episode in this series is John Hazelton. John, welcome back.
Hey, Buck, thanks for having me back again. I think this is the third one for the series. Oh, I've lost
It's all
count
right.
already.
You've only been part of every single one, so it's all right. On this one, we're going to dive into defending all of 365 and how Defender can help. However, before that, we of course know the drill. What brew are you having with me today?
So today, well, it's a Monday, but normally that doesn't stop me. But today I've gone for a cup of tea.
Awesome.
This is very, very British of me.
I was gonna say a cuppa is a brew, so I can't argue that at all. So you're good, mate. I on a Monday of in the spirit of a Hefeweizen. So, it's a little bit early for me and got to have a little bit more of a breakfast beer, as it were, because, then it's okay.
I think I'll join you. I think I'll join you again next week
Deal.
on the beers.
Now, diving right into it, how can Defender secure an organization's 365 tenant?
Well, it's a very good question, and you could answer it in a couple of different ways. And I think today probably the best way to answer it is around the security configuration of your 365 tenant. So rather than thinking about just stopping, attacks coming in,
Right.
it's how do you minimize? You can never stop all the attacks, right? It's all about reduction, and how do you there's the reduction, but there's also how do you minimize the severity of those attacks when they do happen,
Right.
and all the time trying to keep your tenant
Functional.
secure as possible.
And yeah.
Yeah, and so the ways to do that, especially if you think about Defender, you get when you use the Defender portal, you have a secure score, and you have various different areas of secure score. But what's good about that secure score is that it gives you a score of where you're at today versus where you could be. But really, what it does is it makes some really good recommendations about, oh, this is your current configuration or your security configuration, and here is a list of improvements that could have a positive impact on that score, but actually make your environment more secure.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so you would get a couple of examples would be, and you get them from the different sources as well. So you get them from a Defender for Endpoint, Defender for Office, and Defender for Identity, etc. So those recommendations come from different sources. So one might be attack surface reduction from an endpoint point of view, that says, oh, you need to enable this feature, which will stop potentially unwanted applications. And that will increase your score and at the same time, make the environment more secure. And that's just one example, but there's many.
Yeah, and it's not the same as like for example, a security organization or another organization coming through and say we're going to do X, type of benchmark against your tenant and ensure all these things. It sounds like it's much more of this is what we recommend at a base level, and the more you do, the more secure you potentially will be, assuming good user processes and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Microsoft have their own benchmarks and their own best practice guidance, which is taken essentially from the security industry. So that's there's a starting point or a baseline that you want to be at, and then you can improve it over time.
Definitely. Now, talking about, or as you mentioned, the various suites as well as where they fit into that secure score, what would be some of the benefits of, I guess you could say, putting all of your eggs in the Microsoft basket of adopting the full Defender suite within 365 rather than doing like Proofpoint for email and piecemealing it.
Yeah, so I mean, the key word here is integration. So by having the Microsoft Defender suite, either part of it or all of it, it's all about the integration between the different products. And essentially, it provides a comprehensive integrated security ecosystem. So whether that's threat protection, endpoint protection, email protection, identity and access management, cloud app security,
Right.
they all talk to each other and they're all integrated into one solution. And ultimately, what that does is it gives you end-to-end visibility, and essentially, simplifies your day-to-day operations.
Yeah, it's really it's hard to overstate the benefit of all of your security products talking with each other and also talking with what is functionally your main tenant as a whole, so that hey, security is doing security things, and then when that signal gets sent over, the tenant can react and say, oh, hey, I need to do this because something might be happening with that user, right? And now it can work with itself. There's no good way to like phrase this of it could talk to itself. Well, yeah, I do that all day long. So what?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right, Buck.
Yeah. On that terrible, terrible joke, that does unfortunately eat up our time for today. John, as always, thank you very much for joining. It's been a pleasure. And until next episode, please, our contact information is all below. If you want to know more, please feel free to reach out. Please ask us questions. That's what we're here for. Until then, mate, cheers. Take care.
Yep, cheers. Take care.